the studios. On my way from Serena International Conference Center, where NTV is based, I saw less of congestion on the roads because, yes, we know that the directive that was issued by the president to all schools to make sure that by midday today they have closed. At least on my way from that side of Kampala towards Mbuya, there's less congestion, and maybe this is just because some offices like the courts of law, I know many of these people are not able to work today because of the directive that was also issued yesterday. And of course, KCCA yesterday issued that directive that today schools that are under KCCA will not be operating today. But here in Mbuya, I'm going to be speaking to also the FUFA, Federation of Uganda Football Association Marketing and Communications Manager, who is also the competitions committee chairperson, that is Rogers Byamukama, who's going to tell me how this scourge, the pandemic of coronavirus disease, is affecting the sport in Uganda, because we know at least 33 countries in Africa have also declared by this morning that they have this pandemic. Good morning, Mr. Byamukama.
Morning, Mr. Mbidi.
Yes, we know that we are not alone in this problem that we are facing as a country, but all world over, at least in Germany, Bundesliga, in Spain, La Liga, in Italy, Italian Serie A, and also in England, at least the Premier League is not underway. And also in Uganda, we have our competitions that are licensed by you as FUFA are not underway. How is this? First of all, you as FUFA, in-house, how is this affecting you?
First of all, a small correction. I am the Chairman, Marketing and Communications Committee, not the manager. Hussein will not be happy with me. But most importantly, good morning to viewers of NTV and especially the stakeholders of football. It is indeed a sad moment because football comes to unite us, to entertain us, but here we are forced to stop football because of these very unfortunate circumstances. You must understand that as FUFA, we hold football in trust on behalf of humanity in Uganda, and we also manage it and promote it for the benefit and entertainment of Ugandans. So in that case, Ugandans must be and must always be first priority for us as number one. So luckily, the President of the Republic of Uganda gave a presidential directive on how we should try and combat, prevent coronavirus, otherwise also known as COVID-19, from happening into Uganda. And we are still lucky that we don't have any confirmed case, although all our neighbors have confirmed cases. Now, at the Federation, in respect of the President's directive, and also in respect of our fans and our values of staying safe, we have taken the President's directive to stop all major activities that congregate and bring about people in one place. And that means all our affiliated leagues have been stopped. And we encourage all our stakeholders, not even just football players and coaches, but all the people of Uganda to take the directives and stay safe. And by staying safe, it means avoid crowded places, avoid close contacts, 1 meter apart like how we are seated here, avoid shaking hands, wash your face, your hands as much as possible, do not touch rails in public places, be it buses, be it stair rails, don't touch them. And if you do, at the earliest opportunity, wash your hands. It is also advisable that keep alcohol-based sanitizer in your bag or in your pocket or in your laptop bag, so that at every opportunity you are able to cleanse out. Now, what does this mean for football? You realize that this year's calendar has been a little bit very hectic, with World Cup qualifiers in there, AFCON qualifiers in there, CHAN finals in there, as well as our ever-growing domestic competitions. So when we stop for 32 days, as advised by the President, and we really hope that within 32 days something will have been done to curb the spread so that we don't have more extensions. But you also notice that in those 32 days, the team has been training for Chan, the national team, and it would have been in Cameroon, in Douala. That has been put on a hold, both here and by CAF. You notice that on the 28th of March, we're due to play Southern Sudan in the AFCON qualifier, and then the return match on the 31st was a double header, either in Cameroon, or in Nairobi, or in Sudan. That has also now been cancelled. Within the same period, we were due to complete our league. The league was supposed to complete, I think, around the first week of May, which actually falls within the time. Will not be able to honor those 5 also last fixtures because it has been stopped. The big league was getting into the penalty stage. I think they were remaining also with a couple of 3 or 4 match days before going to the playoffs. That has also come to a hold. The regional league has come to a hold. 4th league and 5th division, some have just started and some were about to start. That has been put to a hold. The FUFA drum was due to kick off in that period for the 3rd edition. That has also been put off. So in terms of our planning and our calendar, we have really been affected. But all that means nothing. We don't care if we're being affected or not, for as long as the people remain safe.
Yes, but you may not care, but just looking at issues of revenue as FUFA and as at a club level, I just want to understand, what does this mean revenue-wise? Because many were looking at least generate some income.
Okay. When I said we don't care, literally I meant life comes first. All these things can be stopped, nobody will die. But of course, if you look at this pandemic, it is a major financial problem for not just FUFA or the game of football, but basically sports generally, not just in Uganda, but also globally. Maybe if you look at it from the Ugandan perspective, our team has been training in residential training for the last 16 days before the directive came about. They were staying in a hotel, so that hotel has lost revenue. Those players were earning training allowance, because now the camp has been disbanded. They have lost revenue.
Even the staff who are
even the staff that were working, apart from those that are on monthly contractual basis, they have lost staff, and that can go down. I mean, if you look at also the AFCON qualifier team, the guys that were going to come in, the players from abroad coming here, those air tickets have been cancelled. So that's an effect to the airlines. If you look at the girls team that was preparing, for their game also against Cameroon, also. But if you get away from the national teams, look at the clubs. Some of our clubs pay what we call in economics piece rate, for the work that you've put in. Okay. So if the players are not able to train, so there is no training allowance, and some clubs that don't have players on contract will not even afford to pay. Okay. If you take it, for instance, outside of the top flight and the 2nd division, the other divisions below, players and coaches may not even get paid. But also look at it from the sponsor's perspective that sponsor the game. If you have sponsored for activities for 8 months, and one particular month there is no activity, take for example Star Times at Sanyuka. In the 32 days, they'll have no football to show. Yet they had originally bought.
Also the betting clubs. But also, just in 1 minute, as we wind up this conversation, I just also want to understand, within this period of 1 month, what are you telling the clubs? What you as FUFA are you going to be doing in this 1 month? Looking at the facilities, like the football stadiums, have many which are not in good conditions. What are you going to be doing and telling the clubs?
First of all, the clubs must ensure that all their players and their staff stay safe. That is very, very, very important. And they can only do so by adhering to the guidelines given by the President, as well as the Ministry of Health and WHO guidelines. But most importantly, the non-contact activities at the clubs must go on. like for instance, pitch maintenance, facilities improvement. That must go on, so that when eventually we resume, let's find the infrastructure in the right shape. What we have done at the federation, we have also closed our shop for outsiders, and we are asking the key staff, because you remember our business is football management. So if there is no football, that means our contact with the outside world must be limited. Whatever remains of us to do is house cleaning, Okay. So we are going to use this period of time at the federation to do house cleaning, and also trying to stay safe by adhering to the guidelines that are as given by the Ministry of Health and World Health Organization.
Okay. Thank you so much. This is Mr. Rogers Byamukama, the chairperson of the Marketing and Communications Manager. And of course, we know that this is not only affecting the sport, the entertainment industry, the tourism sector, the business community, are all having a hard time. But maybe any last word, maybe to the fans, because we have seen some indiscipline on the pitches.
In the last couple of games, there has been fan violence creeping into the stadiums. I would like to applaud the clubs that have taken the initiative to punish the respective fans. But also as a federation, you must have noticed a week or two ago, we did train security officers, and now we are requiring the clubs to avail a minimum, I think, of 20 stewards to manage the funds, but also we're using this opportunity to do advocacy and engagement with the fans to show them the danger of club violence, because if you are going to fight and then your club is doctor point and find money, you're not helping the club. And this football, we can enjoy it without fighting. It is for all of us, it's for enjoyment. You lose, you win, but at the same time, as a federation, we're also trying to ensure that we use our arbitration docket, which is referring, to ensure that they interpret the game of football very well. While we are educating the fans, while we are fining, while we are educating the clubs, it is also imperative on our side, and that we continue to do to ensure that our arbiters arbitrate fairly.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rogers Byamukama. As you've heard from him, we are still safe as Ugandans health-wise, because no one is yet reported as a case for the COVID-19, but at least we know that different sectors of the economy are having the pinch. We are feeling it already. We hope that we shall keep our country in prayer that no one is reported as a case of coronavirus. Stephen Imbide, I have to take you back to studio, but first of all, we shall have a commercial break, and the rest of the programming will continue with Romeo Busiku and DJ Sowebi in the studios. Keep it here on Morning at